intersection between environment and sustainable development. His expertise not only with regard to sustainable development but also within sustainable development, his expertise regarding management of water resources is notable, and throughout his remarkable career he has also held several significant positions, including member of the Narmada Control Authority, and he has also contributed a lot to environmental impact assessments regarding in the Himalayan hills, mountains in India. Apart from that, he has also contributed a lot to the policies regarding large scale water resources in India. He is a prolific researcher and he has published over more than 100 research papers and articles regarding environment management, and he has extensively contributed to global environment research. As a mentor of the Chhatra Paryavaran Sansad, Dr. Ahmad brings a unique combination of scientific expertise, judicial insight, and practical expertise and experience. His guidance will definitely inspire us to think critically, act responsibly, and become informed regarding the environment and the importance of sustainable development as far as the environment is concerned. On behalf of the entire Chhatra Paryavaran Sansad family, I extend my heartfelt welcome to Dr. Ahmed, and I hope his youth oriented approach will help us to gain some enlightenment regarding sustainable development. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, yes, Chief, for your introduction, and I'm really thankful to Anshuman Singh Ji for the opportunity to share with the young minds, legal minds, as well as the environment and development mind students. So I'm grateful to Chhatra Paryavaran Sansad for the opportunity. First of all, the topic or the subject is very important, and I must say to you that water is one of the important component of the environment. Of course, environment includes everything, but water is one of the most important component, the physical environment, air, water, land, as well as the biological environment and the human environment. As you all know that for centuries the man lived in equilibrium with the nature and created one of the most harmonious landscape on this planet earth. But now the situation is different. The humanity has now based the war on the natural resources, which is of course suicidal for the survival of the present and future generations. And water is most affected in that. So the natural resource has not been only utilized, especially the water, but it has been modified and it has also been erased in several countries, several areas. If you think about the water, fresh water, I would like to just interact to you, especially the rivers, the wetlands, lakes, as well as the groundwater. These are three important components that is contributing to the fresh water, and you know all that tiny fraction of this fresh water is available for the human use and for the survival. But it is quite enough, sufficient for the survival of the humanity and all living beings on this planet Earth. But now the situation is very grim. As you all know, that the water has become a looming crisis globally. If you think about the major rivers of the world, it may be the American rivers, Colorado, Mississippi, in Middle Eastern regions, in the American, other Latin American countries, as well as Europe, which was having very good water resources, now suffering serious problems. It might be the river Danube, it could be the Rhine, that all affected. If you see the Danube now, Danube, of course, very important river, originate from the Germany, and it provides sustenance and water to more than 8 countries of the Europe. But now the water level, the flow of the water has reduced. The river is also polluted, and that has resulted several countries like Hungary to close their nuclear plant. That was the only one energy plant with the Hungary. The similar situation with the rivers in USSR, former USSR, the five river systems, five the rivers of the Aral Sea areas, they are all affected in the America. And if you think about the Middle Eastern regions, if you see that the Israel's determination on the West Bank and Golan Height is especially because of the river that originate, the Jordan rivers. So river is one of the important aspects globally. The world is facing the challenge. Not only the Middle Eastern regions, if you come to the Nile River, you see the Sudan, the Ethiopia, they are having serious issues, serious problems, and the Egypt about sharing of the water and development of the Nile water. And the most explosive alliance between Syria and Iraq against Turkey is for the control of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Middle Eastern region, Southeast Asia. This is the situation. If you come to the China, the Yellow River Basin of China, 65% water has reduced in the Yellow River Basin, that is not reaching to the ocean. If you come to the Thailand and you also see the north and south area of Southland, they are facing the problems. In neighboring country like Pakistan, the Sindh and Punjab are also fighting each other for sharing of the Indus water that is flowing in the Pakistan area. The similar situation in our country, we are receiving about 4 million hectare meter water, but only 69 million hectare water that is of use that goes to the rivers and that farms the groundwater. And we have major 20 river basins in the country. Now, half of the river basin in the country are suffering from the problems of water scarcity, pollution of the water, as well as the availability of the water in certain areas.
Sir, may I just intervene
Uh,
for a moment? Children, please take notes of what you are receiving from Dr. Afroze Ahmad. Please continuously take notes. These are very important things. Thank you, sir. Sorry for interruption, sir.
Sorry, no issue, no issue. Thank you very much. Then, if you see, out of the 20 river basin in the country, half of the river basin, you know that maybe Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, Kaveri, Krishna, Narmada, all these river basins, half of the river basins are facing the problems of water scarcity as well as the contamination of the water or pollution of the water. So it is very serious situation in the country that how to manage the water resources. And it is not only the river systems, but you see in India, the rivers are of two types. Number one originate from the Himalayas. That is major river like Ganga, Brahmaputra and Indus river. The other river systems, mostly they are originated from non-glaciers. These Ganga, Brahmaputra and Indus are from the glaciers. But other river system may be from the Arauli, maybe from the Satpura, from the Vindhyachal, from Eastern Ghat, Western Ghat and from other plateaus. They are all only non-glacial rivers, but several of the rivers are perennial rivers. They provide water throughout the year. So this is the, you can say, topography, this is the geographical location of the country, that how the country is blessed with the water resource from the river. But if you see the rivers which originate from the Himalayas, you will be surprised to know that the major river like Brahmaputra, Ganga and Indus, of course Yamuna is a major tributary of the Ganga, the glaciers they are providing to the water, they are shrinking. These glaciers may be from Ladakh to Jammu Kashmir, Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, or Arunachal Pradesh. These are the states where glaciers are located. Now, I just like to share to you 9,000 as per Geological Survey of India's estimation, and according to the National Remote Sensing Agency, there are 16,000 glaciers in the country. These glaciers are now retreating fastly because of climate change, because of human interferences, and the climate change is the major source of glacier retreats, and farming lot of artificial lakes, glacial lakes, their number is increasing. So you can imagine that how the climate change and the temperature especially and variation in rainfall is affecting our glaciers. So it is estimated that the size of glaciers, the area of glaciers, as well as the melting of the glaciers is resulting the river flow drastic change. Maybe from 35% to 70% water in the river will be reduced by 2090. Can you imagine? Just a serious situation. By 2090, about 35 to 70% water will be reduced because of these, especially the impact of glaciers melting process as well as area of the glaciers. It is fine, Mr. Ansuman? Or?
Sir, absolutely fine, sir. Absolutely fine.
Okay, okay.
Thank you so much. Please.
And then now you can imagine what will be the future of these perennial rivers which is originated from glaciers, Ganga, Brahmaputra, and the Indus. Now, as I told you, out of 20 river basins, all other river basins are, of course, mostly they are perennials, but that is dependent on rainfall only and from the mountains, Satpura, Vindhyachal, Eastern Ghat, Western Ghat. Of course, these are the older mountain than the Himalayas. Himalaya is 50 to 60 million years old, so quite young mountains in the mountain chain of this country. Now, the river, especially not only the water availability, but the issue of with the water, with the river is also pollution. These pollutions are from, as you know very well, from the solid waste, from the sewage generated from the urban local bodies, from the cities, towns, that goes to the rivers. Earlier, now, of course, a lot of intervention, judicial intervention has taken place from the National Green Tribunal and the Honorable Supreme Court. So a lot of things is changing, but in the past, a lot of solid waste and sewage have entered and is still entering till the permanent solution is being evolved by the concerned state governments. Not only the sewage and the solid waste, but the industrial effluents have also contributed pollution to the rivers. So the rivers now, as I told you, that the discharge of the rivers has reduced drastically, and also the availability of the water as well as the quality of the water. This was the situation with the river systems. And if you come to the fresh water that is being made available to us, that is from the lakes, ponds, and wetlands. If you come to the wetlands, you know, wetlands are very important formation of the nature of the Almighty on this planet Earth. They are available in the polar region to the tropics. They are available to the high altitude, to the low altitude desert area also. And in India, these wetlands play a very important role. They are part of the river networks. Certain rivers in our country, they originate from the lakes, from the wetlands. There are so many, like Gomti rivers in Lucknow. There are large number of rivers to name. So wetlands play a very important role to recharge the groundwater on one hand, and they are playing the role of a kidney as well as the role of veins on this earth system, and they filter the water that is during the rainfall, and then finally the filtered water goes to the river system.
Sir, could you just explain this part more, sir? How the wetlands play the role of being the arteries for the rivers?
Yes. Now, the wetlands, as you know, generally all the water bodies that is protected per law by the Honorable Supreme Court as well as the NGT orders. And wetlands are areas that is classified mostly that is more than 2.25 hectare above that. And they are generally, it could be man-made also and it could be natural also, like Bhoj wetlands in Bhopal. That is man-made, but it is a wetlands of international importance. But generally, as per definition of wetlands, those lakes are lakes and water bodies which are man-made and used for irrigation as drinking. They don't qualify, but there is no any permanent, you can say, stoppage for that. States can do that. If it play a very important role, then it could be designated as a wetlands. Wetland, when the water comes to the lake, they retain the water and slowly it percolate down to the soil, and the groundwater is recharged. In view of this, they play a role of balancing reservoirs. They balance the water system, local water systems where the wetlands or lakes are available. Number one. Secondly, they filter. They have their own ecosystems. They regulate microclimate, local microclimate. You will find temperature lower compared to other area, 2 to 3 degree, 4 degree temperature, less than the other areas where there is no wetlands. Secondly, they have the cultural value. They have the religious value. They have historical value also. And also, they are habitat for the migratory birds. Large number of migratory birds comes and they make it as a habitat in the wetlands, because the birds from the, you can say, Russia, China and other polar regions during the minus degree temperature, minus 60 to 70 degree temperature, they comes here, and finally after you can say after their laying the eggs and having the chicks developed here, they flown from here. So that is a fly zone, India especially, and the wetland play a very crucial role. Secondly, the wetland are also important for local area. They provide the fisheries to the people. They play the role in boatings and all that. They also for recreation value. They also provides certain, just say chestnut and all that that is grown in the wetlands. And aesthetic sense, the scenic value of the area, like Bhopal, if you minus the lakes, you will not see the Bhopal so beautiful, which is looking because of the wetlands. So wetlands are very important for the environment. Their environmental services, I am telling to you, that is about 15 million US dollar, 15 billion US dollar in the global world, the environmental services. Can you imagine how much important the wetlands play important role? What is situation today? We have the, you can say, the wetland conservation and management rules 2017. That is a government's enactment of the rule, and then guidelines in 2020 to how to protect wetlands. And we have in each state wetland authority, and we have a district wetland committee also that is chaired by the district magistrate or the collector of that district. So much more emphasis has been made, much more significance, importance has been attached to protect the wetlands, but situation is very grim. I would like to share to you, especially the encroachment on the wetlands. You know, the people encroached the wetlands. Wetland had its own life, but they encroach illegally rather than not only encroachment, but sometimes the pollution also goes to wetlands from the municipal waste, from the industrial waste. Now, urbanization has also played a very negative roles in damaging the wetlands. In Bangalore, in Mumbai, in Ahmedabad, in Delhi, more than 50 to 60% wetlands have already gone. And as I told you, they play a very important role in urban and rural areas. In urban area, whatever rainfall takes place, the water, they conserve the water, they recharge the groundwater, and finally, some water through drains, it goes to the river located nearby city. So that system has affected. And in rural area also, the encroachment because of agricultural practices and also for urbanization, the wetland have been utilized. The construction of various construction activity where no importance had been paid about conservation of wetland has also played very important role in damaging the wetlands. So in this manner, wetlands have been damaged and affected badly because of all these activities. Now, if you come to groundwater, the groundwater, as you know, that is the third resource of the fresh water. 97% groundwater is being utilized worldwide as a fresh water. And now what is situation of the groundwater? It is very serious and very important to tell you that in entire country, about 900 blocks in all the states, they are in the dark zone. Dark zone means the groundwater has gone very deep. And naturally, if you see the groundwater situation in Brahmaputra, in Ganga and Indus basin, that is rich because of alluvial soil. But in case of South and Central India, you find like Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu, Kerala, you will find that they are confined to deep aquifer. Aquifer means where groundwater is confined to that regions. So it is more than 1,000 feet in that area. But in the Ganga basin, Brahmaputra basin, you will find groundwater just below 20-meter deep from the ground, 30-meter deep from the ground because of availability of the water from the rivers and network of the wetlands, lakes and all that. But now this groundwater situation is also very grim in entire country. Now, as I told you, about 900 blocks in the country, they are in the dark zone. Dark zone means they are very, you cannot, you can say, subtract water unless you go thousands feet and more than that. So they have reached into dark zone. Now, I would like to narrate to you that these changes in the water system have affected globally, worldwide. I narrate to you example to you in the Darfur region of the South Sudan, where the drought as well as desertification. Desertification, you know, desertification doesn't mean only the desert formation. Desertification have resulted, just a third result, it has resulted because of climate change. Meteorological drought has taken place that point of time. So when water is affected, maybe river water, maybe wetland or lakes water or the groundwater, the desertification takes place. And these desertification and droughts have resulted conflict between native Arab people and African farmers in Sudan. That have resulted in 2013 death of about 2 lakhs people and migration of 2 million people. 20 lakhs people have migrated. So environment change play a very significant role in the conflict between the communities, between the people, between the country, and that's why its management is of very important and foremost requirement for ensuring sustainable development. Now, these groundwater, I would like to quote some example. Now in NGT, there are hundreds of cases coming, especially for encroachment, for pollution of the rivers, wetlands, and groundwater. And we have passed very serious restrictions for the use of the groundwater and also prohibited use of groundwater if the groundwater is of serious concern. Now, let us take example of Punjab. The Punjab was growing only wheat crops. Earlier, it was a wheat bowls. It was considered as a wheat bowls of the country. Now, the introduction of Green Revolution have resulted cultivation of paddy, rice cultivation. Now, the use of groundwater has increased drastically, and now groundwater is in a dark zone in several areas of the Punjab. Now the use of or the cultivation of paddy or the rice cultivation have resulted use of indiscriminate pesticide, insecticide and herbicides. The use of these pesticide, insecticide and fertilizers have resulted serious changes. I wish to share with you some of my experience of the Punjab's groundwater situation. Now, the use of fertilizers, you know very well, the fertilizer contains the nitrate, nitrogenous fertilizer. This has gone to groundwater, and the groundwater where the uranium is bind with the rocks, and after reaching the nitrogen to the aquifer where water is available in the just below the soil, that have dissolved the uranium, and now uranium is coming in the water. The Malwa region, Malwa is also in Madhya Pradesh, but Malwa region is also in Punjab. In Punjab, about 8-9 districts, they are affected with the uranium that has reached to the groundwater, number one. Number two, the use of pesticide, insecticide have resulted contamination of groundwater with heavy metals, chromium, cadmium, mercury. This is the situation. And I must like to quote to you that in the district Bhatinda, there is a train moving from Bhatinda to Bikaner that is called Cancer Express, because this has reached to the food chains that is affecting to the humankind and all living beings in that area. So this is the situation of use of indiscriminate pesticide, insecticide that has affected our surface water resources in the river system, even Satluj rivers. Lot of heavy metals is reaching to them. Groundwaters. The town of Ludhiana, that is very famous. You must be wearing the woolen cloths that is made from the Ludhiana. That is a brand that goes to the France also. But because of the greed of the people, they have not installed proper effluent or the chemical waste treatment facility. And that have resulted, especially the, you can say, dye industries, the dyeing of the cloths, number one, electroplating industry in the area have resulted pollution of serious concern in the Buddha Nala, that Buddha Nala finally meet to Satluj. So this is the situation. I have quoted to one example of Punjab, but this is the situation everywhere. In UP also, our tribunals has already ordered to closure of several hotels. They were extracting the water, groundwater illegally. In Delhi also, every day we are taking serious action against those who are doing theft of the groundwater. The groundwater has become a very serious concern for entire country. And you all know that area, as I told, Ganga, Brahmaputra and Indus Basin, other areas are of serious concern. It is a natural reserves that God has created, that you have to protect the groundwaters. But that has been affected badly, contaminated by the human activities, agricultural activities. Same is the situation with the rivers. The river system, especially they are now contaminated with the fecal coliform from the municipal wastes. The rivers, the wetlands, that is also contaminated. But I am very happy to share to you, because of intervention with our national green tribunals, as well as the apex court, honorable Supreme Court. Now all the state governments are very concerned, seriously taking how to manage the municipal waste, how to dispose the municipal waste, and to avoid contamination of the fresh water, that is lifeline for all living beings. So with this positive note, I must share to you and say that there is a need of lot of policy intervention. I must say to you that environment does includes land, water, air, forest, flora, fauna. Water is one of the component. But in our constitution, the water is a state subject. Only interstate waters, the rivers which is flowing from one to two states, the center has the roles under Interstate Water Dispute Act. So there is a need to have at least a multidisciplinary river basin authority in the center to look into the water resources, especially the rivers which is passing from one state to other states, to manage it, to conserve it, to develop it. Development of river is also very important, because you need fresh water. You need water for irrigation. You need water for industrial development. And it is possible. And same time, you need a multidisciplinary river basin authority for state governments. That should also be multidisciplinary for those water rivers that is totally based in the states. And a time-bound manner, it can be developed, conserved. And you also need a international coordination with the rivers, transboundary rivers, which is passing to other countries like Ganga, like Brahmaputra, Indus, and India is having the treaties and all that. But it needs much more participation of the world communities where the transboundary rivers are involved. They should provide technology, exchange the technology, and whatever benefits they are getting, they can also share for the proper management of the water resources in the country. Similarly, we have lot of policy programs, rules for the river. But I must share to you that still from last 70 years, I appreciate the government's initiative now and our intervention, the court's intervention, Honorable Supreme Court, Honorable this NGT, as well as the courts of the states, Honorable High Courts. Now floodplain zoning, that is the most requirement for any river systems, that was not available. Now I'm happy to share with the intervention of the NGT, now the Ganga and Yamuna floodplain zoning is taking place and maximum work has already been done. And we are of the view that all the river system, maybe small, large, whatever, they all should be have a floodplain zoning system, and this will help. This will help in the manner the river systems. River is a life. It is not a non-living entity. It is living beings. Lot of flora, fauna, the life that is available with the river systems. So river systems, it is not only just like a canal that is passing. It has a life, it has a catchment area. So now how to protect the catchment? And that's why floodplain zoning is taking place, and it could be the active floodplain zone where no development will take place. Whatever has been done so far, that's fine. It cannot be reversed. Maybe Banaras, maybe Prayagraj, maybe Haridwar, that has been developed before enactment of law. But now it is very difficult unless you have a active floodplain zone, then you have a restricted zone, yeah, regulated zones, where after permission from the concerned authorities, you can develop something, and then you have a warning zone. So these are required, and this intervention of the courts in our country that has played very important role, that all the states are now doing that one. Secondly, for the wetland, also the wetland rules 2017 very clearly stipulates that each state should have a wetland authority. And at district level, there should be a district wetland committee that is chaired by the district magistrate or the collectors. So they have to have a brief documentation of all the lake systems. Now, here also I would like to mention that Honorable Supreme Court as well as NGT has passed so many landmark judgment that all the water bodies should be demarcated, and it should be, pillars should be installed for the each water body, that is, this is the area of the water body. It should be geotagged, and you should have a unique identity UID numbers, so you can protect the wetlands and rivers. As I told, that 60% wetlands and lakes has already gone in the metropolitan city. I would like to share to you that 25-hectare wetlands or lakes or water bodies are get lost when you construct 1 square kilometer urban area. So urbanization has played a very, very insignificant roles. Urbanization is required. It has to be done, but it should be scientifically done. It has not been done without, at that time, we are not having the environmental impact assessment. We were not having certain rules, regulations. But now, no one can do without following the environmental norms and regulation stipulated by various rules, regulation, acts, as well as intervention of Honorable Supreme Court, as well as NGT and the Honorable High Courts of the country. So in this manner, I must say that there is a need to include college like you, the students, law researchers, college, universities. They should be involved in managing the water bodies, especially the wetlands, and they should be a part of that, including the community participation. That is most important. So wetlands can be protected, and then your river's life can also be enhanced and protected, and you can ensure sustainability and sustainable development in this manner.
Sir, I have a question for you, sir. If
Ji,
you could, sir.
please.
As member NGT, you have dealt with the issue of Narmada
Ji,
and the floodplains of Narmada, sir.
ji.
Now, the Jabalpur master plan prescribes that 300 meters will be the zone which will be prohibited for all forms of construction activity from the banks of river Narmada.
Right.
So, why should it be confined to a place like only Jabalpur, sir? Why should not it be from the origin of the river to the place where the river meets? Should not there be a uniformity in terms of regulations, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the one thing I would like to share that, especially for Ganga, we have the Ganga River Protection, Rejuvenation and Management Authorities Act 2016.
Sir.
That deals only with the Ganga floodplain zoning. But definitely it could be made applicable like Narmada, that is a lifeline for the central India. And the headwater region is more important in Narmada, because the water, as I told, it is not glacial fed rivers, but that area, I must personally feel that should be declared as a heritage, especially from the Amarkantak to Jabalpur area. That is required. I think the legal intervention is required. Master plan, of course, that is one of the statutory document, no doubt, but there is some legal framework is required for that types of river. Narmada is very pious river, very important rivers, and I must say that is most sacred rivers and non-polluted river compared to other rivers which I am encountering here in various court cases. So that has to be protected, and I would like to mention here that all the river system, when I was dealing Narmada as a member, the Narmada Control Authority, the catchment area treatment was the most important aspect that has to be taken care. The catchment area are of two types. Directly drainings means when the water directly enter to the river, and that is most degraded. And secondly, freely draining the catchment. So large number of plantation catchment area treatment work has been done, and I think that has to be taken care, and it has to be brought to the notice of the people that because of the Narmada basin development, it was only Narmada was the only river basin where basin as a unit has been developed. So unless your catchment is protected, river protection will be a big question marks. So catchment area has to be protected properly. As Ansmanji has said about the Narmada, there should not be certain activities should not be allowed, and I hope it should not be done, especially to protect the rivers and the catchment of the rivers, because it is a lifeline of not only the Madhya Pradesh but also for Gujarat, Rajasthan, and also Maharashtra. Now, with this, I have covered the catchment area. Similarly, with the water bodies also, mass plantation program need to be undertaken, and these plantation program should be with the involvement of local communities. Now, other important aspect, if you see, that is requiring to protect the freshwater resources is a massive afforestation program, plantation programs of indigenous species, local species. That is need of the hour. The land available everywhere from the panchayat to the urban area, all the land should be brought under the plantation program for halting carbon excess, carbon release and sequestration of the carbons to ensure, and also to recharge the groundwater by these forests. So biodiversity park and the plantation activity that should be taken in the rural as well as urban areas, and involvement of the civil society should be ensured. Now with this, mass awareness is also required, and it could be done by involvement of now religious leader also. The mosque, the church, the temples, the gurdwara, the religious leaders should also have a discourse to protect fresh water. How to protect fresh water? And because they have very good communication with the people, and that could percolate that they should work for that. They should protect the freshwater resources, maybe river. They should not throw anything in the river. They should not throw anything that is harmful for the wetlands and ultimately for the groundwater.
Sir,
Ji,
sir, one more small question, sir.
Ji, please.
How big is the challenge of the sand mining, sir, for conservation of rivers? And should the government not be looking to completely almost prohibit sand mining, which takes away the lifeline and the entire aquatic life also? Because once illegal sand mining is done, it is done on the bed of the river at times. So
Yes.
should we not look at the alternatives such as M sand, which is produced from the rocks, as alternatives so that we can save the rivers, sir?
I fully agree with you. Actually, the rivers, as I told, the Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, they they brings lot of sands, and that is required to be removed. But the rivers like perennial rivers, which is not glaciers, like Narmada ji, Tapi, and Krishna, Kaveri, of course, there is a need to think over, especially the manufactured sand, yam sand. That is, of course, either you can buy from the area where it is available. There are regulations of the government Ministry of Environment Forests have done it, but I'm definitely, we have encountered several cases of Narmada also. Large number of cases for illegal mining has taken place, and not only Narmada but the tributaries of Narmada. The damage of the entire river has taken place. The mining has been done in the river beds. Riverbed mining is allowed, but
Sir.
especially streams mining they have done. The mining below 3 meters, which is not allowed, that farm aquifer, that has also been done. So strict rules regulation is there, but enforcement need to be more made more stricter. And I fully agree with Ansumanji that certain rivers where sand should not be allowed, especially the rivers which is lifeline, and that is not glacier fed rivers, because sand play very important roles. They are good habitat for the wildlife. They are very good habitat to recharge the rivers. They are very good habitat for making water available throughout the year in the river systems. And the sand available in excess in those rivers, that could be made available to that area for construction purposes.
Sir, sir, thank you.
So I think with this, I must share to you that the water, especially fresh water, is a looming crisis now, and it is our common heritage. We all share the responsibility to protect it, to conserve it. There are a lot of rules, regulation every day, every time. The court's intervention, I really appreciate. Without court intervention, it would have not been possible to protect the wetlands, the rivers. But this is high time that civil society, the community should take part in that. Now, therefore, I propose that, as you have rightly said, for the rivers like Narmada and all that, we have proposed several rivers here in our judgment, that community radio service should be launched in entire Narmada basin, and these community radio service should play a very important role to bring to the people the importance of rivers, the wetlands in the local dialect. And each district should have a community radio systems to create awareness. In addition to awareness through the religious leaders, the community radio can also play a very important role to disseminate information about the importance of the rivers and the situation of the rivers and how it should be conserved and managed. It is a lifeline for all who are residing, I must say, millions of people's lifeline. So it is very important to protect it. And now I have seen, I was associated more than about 3 decades in Narmada, and I have seen the miracles that Narmada has created in Gujarat and Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, where marriage was not possible for the girls, now the land rate from the 5,000 per acre has gone to 50 lakhs per acre because of water of Narmada. In Gujarat, the Kutch area, the Saurashtra area, where maximum migration has taken place long back historically to Bombay, to Mumbai, to various other countries, now it has been halted because of availability of the water. So water play very important roles, and therefore we have to put much more emphasis to protect the water. And I must say to the young generations like you have to shoulder much more responsibility through not only your action locally, but also as a law graduate. If you are the lawyers, you can also play a very important role in filing the cases in the case courts, and the court definitely, I am telling you, playing very, very crucial and important role. And with one more example I would like to conclude, especially in the Nainital districts, a national park was there where a river was also flowing, and contract was given by district administration. The Nainital High Court has made a very good, I mean, query that whether this mining is done commercially or not. And there was no question for that because it was commercial and it was through tender process and royalty process. A landmark judgment was given that whatever sand has been extracted, it should be left over there. You cannot carry. So now also with the NGT, we have passed a very landmark judgment for Punjab that there was a scheme in Punjab that desiltation will be done without following environmental norms, environmental law. So we have stopped, no, nothing doing. If it is a commercial, you have to follow all environmental rules and regulation. Without that, it cannot be done. So I must say to you that the environment is a common heritage, and especially the water, that is life for every living beings. Without water, you cannot imagine life in this planet Earth. The Almighty has created, and I have not touched the ocean, but every things play very important role. Even the wetlands, as Ansmanji has said, wetland also serve as a reservoir for carbon. Carbon is stored in the wetlands, the plants, the you can say marshy area, the soil that is available in the water, that all store the carbon. So everything is very important in wetlands, and therefore the fresh water has to be protected. It is a challenge for entire world. Our glaciers are shrinking, the rate of melting is increasing, the rivers flow is decreasing, and this is the high time that we should bring river and freshwater system for the survival of the entire world and for our country, especially to ensure sustainable development. I must say to you that worldwide, like Danube, I have told, the lower Danube states, like Romania, Bulgaria, Moldova, and Ukraine, they have launched a special program to create a green corridor of 1,000 kilometer on both sides of the rivers. So this is the need of the hour, which I tried in Narmada, that catchment area treatment has to be done in a manner that entire river should remains intact, because this is not only the rivers, such a beautiful river where oxygenation takes place from 1,000 meter to 0 meter in Arabian Sea. How much oxygen is coming up in the river systems? Of course, development was required. It was done for the people, and the same time, development and environment both can go together, I must say. But one has to put priority on the environmental conservation, environmental management, and also the same time development also will follow, because it is two sides of the coin. With these words, I must say that there is a need to create a society, a sustainable society. Sustainable society means which is based on the peace, a society which is based on democracy, a society which reduces poverty and inequality, the society which ensure fundamental human rights, and the society which conserve the natural resources. And therefore, I appreciate the organizer and Sumanji for organizing these types of important programs. And this is need of the hour. This is our dharma. This is our religion, that we have to protect the nature. Without that, we cannot survive. With these words, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share with the young minds about my experience and thought. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir,
Please.
I have a very small query. Can you
Please.
please spare 2 minutes? So while afforestation does serve as a solution, sir, and as a part of community effort, we should go for afforestation. I want to understand that whether weeds, there are certain types of weeds I've heard that are good for protection, for taking up the chemicals in the water bodies. So can you please throw some light on the weeds that we can introduce on our certain good types of weeds that we can introduce in our water bodies to clean them? Can you please
Yeah,
throw some?
definitely. Even if you know, if you visit to Ayodhya earlier Faizabad, and just behind the circuit house, you will find four ponds. That ponds was occupied by some people, nomads and all that. The government, what they did, about 2 wards water, that municipal water that is coming into the pond, number one ponds, and they have introduced large number of algae and several other vegetation which can absorb the chemicals and filter the chemicals. And then through gravity, it goes to second pond, that is called stabilization pond. By introduction of several species of the plants, that is water plants, algae and bryophytes, that play a very important role to filter the water. And in the third ponds, you will find the water pure, totally pure. Especially you have to add something, especially if the fecal coliform is there, some chlorination or something. But that water can be used for other purposes like washing of the roads, building construction, and I would like to share to you that NGT has banned use of the groundwater for the cricket grounds. Especially you can use STP water, STP treated waters. So that is one of the important initiative of our court, that this fresh water that is so precious cannot be wasted like this in washing the motors and washing the construction of the houses and all that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Anybody
sir.
else?
It was a really enlightening session to listen to
So
you,
nice of you. So
and
nice.
we've been reading those judgments that come from you, sir, which have gone a long way in conserving the environment. I'll just ask the children. Arya Jain has some question to ask.
Please.
Please, Arya.
Good afternoon, sir. So I had
Good
a
afternoon.
question. Like nowadays, AI is taking over everything. So how can AI and smart irrigation system help conserve fresh water?
Can you repeat? The voice is breaking.
Sir, her question is
Okay.
whether use of artificial intelligence in
Ah,
and introducing smart irrigation systems can help us save groundwaters.
yes, yes, very well. I fully appreciate you. The AI is playing very important role, no doubt, but it cannot be substituted by you and me. AI sometime when we put something like Uttarakhand Pollution Control Board, so they mention United Kingdom, UK Pollution Control Board. United Kingdom Pollution Control Board. So something is happening, but that is very helpful because your entire data is available now digitally. So a lot of help is, I think, we are getting from the AI, and especially you have thought about the irrigation system, small irrigation. That's also very important for conservation of the water, like drip irrigation. And I shared to you when Narmada was introduced in Rajasthan. Initially, 50,000 hectare land was brought under irrigation as per the planning of the irrigation department, engineers. Later on, consultant from various other countries who has experience, they suggested like you the drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation. Now 2.5 lakh hectare, 5 time irrigation is taking place in Rajasthan, and water is not wasted also. So that is also a small intervention is required for conservation of the water, managing of the water. Similarly, harvesting of the water. I would like to say to you that one landmark judgment. I was one of the member of the bench, that like metro construction of metro is taking place like Delhi. That was a case for Delhi. So we have ordered, that is a pan India, that all the metro stations and all the metro area having the pillars, they should recharge the groundwater, harvest the groundwater, because of the rain water should be harvested and put into the ground. So Delhi has implemented. Indore, I have seen they have also implemented, they are implementing it. So that is a small intervention that court has played a very important, crucial role. And now the water which was going waste and creating waterlogging problems, that is going to the ground.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you once again to all of you.
So, Anshuman sir, we can't hear you.
Uh,
I'm sorry, I had put myself on mute. So, sir, thank you. It was very enlightening to listen to you, sir. And for your time on Sunday, we know it's very hectic. Through the week, you have to sit and decide cases. But thank you so much, sir. And may I just request Saloni to close the session, please?
But I would like out of the box, Anshumanji, I think he remembered me because Narmada case was
Yes.
there in Jabalpur. I was the only officer who was attending regularly, and all the judges now who are in Supreme Court and all that, they remember me ki you were coming and sitting in the
Always.
court. So I
Always.
told, because I have learned from there all these things like Anshumanji, lot of things I was briefing. So I have learned lot of things when I came in GT. It was very easy for me to know lot of things, SLP, IA and all that, because several people here, they don't know all these things before coming here. So He was one of them, and to guide us and help us when we were camping in Jabalpur. Jabalpur was just like a second home for me because Narmada, it was a struggle for us, and we succeeded in that. So I would like to thank Anshumanji that he
Sir,
remembered
it's an
me
honor, sir.
and invited to me. Thank you so much.
It was an honor, sir. Thank you. Saloni,
Thank you.
please ask for permission and please close the session, please.
Sir, with your permission, can we end
Yeah,
today's meeting?
please, please.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Afroze sir. Thank you so much, Anshuman sir, for the constant guidance to all our students. And I think Alia wants to talk to sir about something.
Yes.
Alia?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words. They were really, really enlightening for all of us. I really have one question. Um,
Please.
how can local communities be involved in maintaining these recharge structures? As you said, you were involved in the program
Yeah.
to ensure their long-term effectiveness of this structure model.
Yeah, actually, nothing is possible, successful. Nothing will be, you can say, sustainability cannot be achieved without local participation. That I know. So, local participation has. And unless you involve the people, like cleaning of the earlier, I must share to you, the water bodies available in the villages or even in the town. Local people were cleaning the beats, water hyacinth and all that. Now nobody goes. So these all things has been left to the government only. So local community, civil society, that's why they have to play a very crucial role, very important role for sustainability. Neither will be very difficult. Now every villagers, the rural areas from panchayat, sarpanch, pradhans, and local villagers are also coming, approaching to our court for encroachment of the water body. They have now realized. So the community is now playing in that way very important role. And I must say that district administration has to play a very crucial role in involving the people, how they should involve, how they could be involved, that modalities has to be worked out. It differs from the state to state, from the region to region, area to area. And they have to be sensitized that they should be a part and parcel of the programs for its sustainability.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for clearing
Thank you.
that up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Uh,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of all the students, we really appreciate the significant technical knowledge that you have for that you are giving to all of us and to the country for sustainable development and protection of the water bodies, even at the global level. We thank you so much, and
Thank you.
on behalf of everyone, we want to say goodbye now.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
Thank
you,
you
much.
sir.
so
Once
much.
again.